There's a book I like entitled Finite and Infinite Games, A Vision of Life as Play and Possibility. There is a passage at the beginning of the book that seems appropriate to the current state of the chase. If a game is to be won by someone, it must come to a definitive end. It will come to an end when someone has won. We know that someone has won the game when all the players have agreed who among them is the winner. No other condition than the agreement of the players is absolutely required in determining who has won the game. It may appear that the approval of the spectators or the referees is also required in the determination of the winner. However, it is simply the case that if the players do not agree on a winner, the game has not come to a decisive conclusion, and the players have not satisfied the original purpose of playing. Even if they are carried from the field and forcibly blocked from further play, they will not consider the game ended. Suppose the players all agree that the game has ended, but the spectators and the referees do not. Unless the players can be persuaded that their agreement was mistaken, they will not resume the play. Indeed, they cannot resume the play. We cannot imagine players returning to the field and truly playing if they are convinced that the game is over. You can probably see how that might apply to the thrill of the chase. While the stadium is empty and the referees, reporters, and spectators are all gone, a number of players are still on the field kicking the ball around. The remaining players or searchers are still looking for the end of the game. They're still looking for the end of the game because they did not get to see the end of the game. The game was declared over by the referee, that is true. And for most searchers, that is enough. Other searchers, however, have unanswered questions that, up until the end was announced, nearly all searchers wanted answers to. Imagine a poker tournament where the players do not get to see the winner's cards. The players are simply told to trust the dealer. No matter how much trust you have in the dealer, a part of you really wants to see the winner's cards. Unless it is you who the dealer declares to be the winner, a part of you will always have doubts until you see those cards. I have aces and eights in my hand. What did the winner have? Let's see the cards. That's what those players are looking for. Flip the cards. They are not looking for referees or insiders to give them assurances. They will never accept that. They want someone to flip the cards over so they can see the end for themselves. It's not that they are being stubborn and hard-headed about it either. It's that for them, it is not rational to agree on an ending unless they see the ending for themselves. And that is a perfectly reasonable position to take. Arguably, that is the most reasonable position to take. In case it isn't obvious, when I say personally witness the ending and flipping the cards over, I'm talking about searchers wanting to see the complete solution to the poem. Some searchers have been working on that poem for over 10 years now. Of course they want to know the solution. No, they are not owed the solution, and no one is obligated to give it to them. In fact, because of the fringe group of malcontents hanging around and misconstruing everything they lay their eyes on, I myself would be hesitant about releasing the solution. But none of that stops searchers from wanting to see it, nor does that stop them from continuing to look for it. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, how does this game end? First, understand that there's going to be some overlap between the groups of searchers that I'm going to talk about. I'm painting with a broad brush here, and I'm probably missing some scenarios and some searchers altogether. There's also a slight possibility that this is all just my opinion and is worth exactly what you paid for it. Okay then, how does this game end? To answer that, you have to define the game and you have to define the players. For the vast majority of searchers, their game ended on the 6th of June, 2020. The game for those searchers was the box of gold. That game is over. The box of gold is gone, and so those searchers are gone. The next largest group of searchers is the group that this video is really about. The story surrounding the thrill of the chase has lasted more than 10 years for searchers and more than 25 years for Forrest. Every one of those searchers is a part of that story, and all of them are looking for the last chapter, the rest of the story. They all want to know how the story ends. Some of these searchers would be happy just knowing the solution. Others are looking to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. They still believe that there's an ending out there that ties up all the loose ends into one tidy package. And if you're being honest, you'll have to admit that there are more than a few loose ends. These searchers believe that those loose ends should not exist, and that they probably do not exist. For them, there are no loose ends. There are only unknowns. In my opinion, these are the searchers who embody the true spirit of the chase. They know that the treasure is no longer out there, but they still want to solve the puzzle for the sake of solving the puzzle. They never knew that it was the chase they sought and not the quarry. That's part of an answer that Forrest gave to a question that appeared on the Mysterious Writings website. What was the title of Forrest's first memoir again? The Thrill of the Chase? Something like that. These searchers are still chasing. They're just chasing something other than a box of gold. They know the box of gold is gone. They've accepted that. For them, the game is still in play because they are playing a different game. That's probably what their critics don't understand. I don't think even Forrest understood this. They are still playing because they are still trying to solve the puzzle. They are trying to solve the puzzle for the sake of solving the puzzle. This really shouldn't be surprising. Forrest created a really interesting and challenging puzzle. And it's not just any puzzle. It's a puzzle embedded within a story of which these searchers have become a part. The puzzle is the end of that story. Even if the reason they first got involved was because of the gold, that does not diminish their desire to finish the story. Some of them have been working on this for over 10 years. Of course they're going to want to finish the story. The end game for this group of searchers is a convincing solution, not the box of gold. The game will end for them when, and only when, they see a convincing solution, whether by their hands or by someone else's. The next largest group of players consists of maybe a few dozen searchers. Each of these searchers is certain that they have the true solution to Forrest's poem. As far as I'm aware, no two searchers agree. These searchers have stopped looking for the solution because in their mind, they've already found it. The end that they're looking for is validation. One subset of these searchers is so confident in their solution that they will never accept any solution other than their own. At most, only one from this group will ever see their end game. I wonder, is it better to never know for certain, always believing that you did what 300,000 others couldn't do, or is it better to risk the chance that Forrest's solution will be so good that even you would be convinced? A different subset of this group includes those who are willing to accept a solution other than their own if that solution fits the poem better than their own. But they have high standards, so any solution put forth as the one and only better be a really good solution. Still, the fact that these searchers allow for the possibility, however slight, that their solution might not be Forrest's solution gives them a better chance to see an end game, even if it's not the end that they hoped for. There is another group of searchers that inhabit what I refer to as the twilight zone of the chase. The members of this group have what you might call a short circuit in their imagination filter. Oddly enough, it always seems to short circuit in their favor. The word apophenia comes to mind. There are not many people in this group, and because of that, it's difficult to talk about them without talking about individuals, which I don't want to do. What are their goals? Don't know. What do they think their actions will accomplish? Don't know. What does the end game look like for them? Don't know. It's possible that they don't know the answers to those questions either. Maybe they're playing the part of the squeaky wheel, hoping to receive some grease. Maybe for some of them, it's as simple as, if I can't have it, then no one can. I don't know what end they're looking for, but I doubt that they'll ever see it. Getting back to those still searching for the solution to Forrest's poem, now that the chest is no longer out there, will they ever see a convincing solution? Is that even possible? The answer is maybe. Suppose that a secret video exists of Forrest going over a solution, and suppose that video gets released to the public. Will that end the game for these searchers? You might think that the answer is, of course it will, but that's not necessarily the case. It all depends on the solution. These remaining searchers are looking for a convincing solution. The game will end for a searcher when that searcher is convinced of a solution. The game will not end for anyone not convinced, even if the solution comes from Forrest himself. Now, this is not me stomping my feet and saying that I will not be convinced. This is me explaining basic human nature and how it relates to games in general, and this game in particular. These searchers are willing to accept a solution other than their own, as long as it makes sense, as long as it's convincing. Predicting their reaction is not that difficult. However, a solution coming from a video of Forrest would be unique in that it does not have to be the best solution, it only has to be plausible. So even if an individual searcher would not have confidence in Forrest's solution, they still must be able to see how someone might have confidence in it. If that overall criteria is met, then Forrest's solution will be accepted by most of the remaining searchers. They might be disappointed in it, but they will accept it. But what if there is no solution forthcoming from Forrest? Will the game ever end for the remaining searchers? Again, the answer is maybe, but it is tilting toward yes. The hurdle with this scenario is that a solution from any source other than Forrest cannot simply be plausible, it must be probable. Some people say that the solution cannot be known without the chest, and therefore, since the chest is gone, it is pointless to search. I don't believe that to be true. Other people say that the poem can lead anywhere, and that the real solution is just one of a million possibilities. I don't believe that to be true either. If the real solution to the poem is just one of a million possibilities, and the real solution does not stand out in some way, then finding that specific solution would be no better than guessing. If faced with a million solutions that all fit the poem equally well, how would a searcher ever choose a solution and walk with confidence? And if that's how you felt, why even bother to search? You might as well throw a dart at a map and save yourself the research time. That's what it means when it's said that the poem can lead anywhere. I, for one, do not believe that that is the poem that Forrest created. There has to be something that makes the real solution stand out when compared with every other solution. The real solution cannot be a solution that sort of fits if you tilt your head at just the right angle and squint hard enough. The real solution cannot simply be a good solution. Forrest said that the person who finds the treasure will have studied the poem over and over and thought and analyzed and moved with confidence. I'll repeat that last part. The person who finds the treasure will have moved with confidence. Whatever it is that would make that person move with confidence would make most other searchers move with that same confidence. Which means that a solution almost certainly exists out there that would give the majority of searchers that same confidence today. Which means that Forrest's puzzle can still be solved, even though the chest is no longer there. What would that confidence look like? I don't know. Maybe it's an aha moment. Maybe it's a solution that ties up so many loose ends that everyone unanimously exclaims, "Oh yeah, that's it. Of course that's it." Now I know all about Forrest's statement that searchers would not even be certain of the first clue without the chest as confirmation. but that's just a matter of degree. It's the difference between being 99% certain and being 100% certain. 99% is moving with confidence. 100% is picking up the chest. For the ending that these remaining searchers are looking for, 99% will do. So then, can the solution still be found? Yes, it can. Whether the solution comes from Forrest or a searcher, an ending to this game is possible. Of course, when that ending will come is still in question. Even if all of the current searchers fade away, a new group of players will eventually take up the search and try to solve Forrest's puzzle for the sake of trying to solve a really intriguing puzzle. This is a game that Forrest did not know he created. This game is not about a box of gold. This game is about the thrill of the chase. And this game will not end until a convincing solution is found. And that means that Forrest's endgame, that the thrill of the chase might last 1,000 years or more, may still come true. And I kind of like the sound of that. Thank you for watching.